This episode is a little unusual. It consists of two parts. The first part discusses the father of the first known victim of the Zodiac Killer, David Faraday. And the second part is the unusual part. It gives a little biography of the Zodiac Killer. And the only disappointing part about this is I don't provide the Zodiac Killer's name. So here's a photograph of David Faraday, the Zodiac Killer's first known victim. And then here's a photograph of David's father, and he graduated from George Washington High School in San Francisco. Here's a map of San Francisco, and over on the left is George Washington High School, and then over to the right in the green square is where Thomas Faraday lived, and then up to the right is the crime scene at Washington and Cherry Streets. After Thomas graduated from high school, he registered for the Army, and so here's his registration card, and you can see his mother's address as 633 6th Avenue in San Francisco. By 1960, you can see that David's father, Thomas, lived in San Rafael and was working for Pacific Gas and Electric. And here you can see that they moved to Petaluma, and he was still working at Pacific Gas and Electric. And then in 1966, they moved to Vallejo, California, and they moved into a brand new house that was just recently constructed. And that is the location where David was living when he was murdered on Lake Herman Road. And after that, David's parents separated for a short period of time. David's father, Thomas, moved to Salinas, California, and his mother continued to live in Vallejo, and she worked at Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield. So, would you like to know about the Zodiac Killer? Well, he was born on October 28, 1936 in San Francisco, and his father left his mother, and he grew up with his mother. Now his father married another woman and had children, so the Zodiac Killer had step brothers and sisters. And then his father died in the late 40s. And then it gets very confusing. So his father's wife, after he died, remarried this man in the middle. And then the Zodiac Killer is over to the right. And then I believe the three guys are his younger brothers, half-brothers. Now, even though the Zodiac Killer's family was kind of confusing, but the Zodiac Killer was quite intelligent, and he graduated from high school in San Francisco, and then he went on to the University of California, Berkeley, and he graduated from there. Now, during the time of the Zodiac murders, he lived in San Rafael, and to be more precise, in Fairfax. And the way I ran upon this suspect is, remember the raccoon hunter, Robert Connelly? They were neighbors and both graduated from the same high school, but there's an age difference. Now, during this time period, he was the president of a small club the Marion Coin Club. And this advertisement here is for a movie, a silent movie or an old movie that he was showing to the club members. It was a coin club. And he was also a member of this larger group based in San Francisco Opera Action. And he died on January 31st, 1994. And he was the director of this steamship company business. And it was based out of Montana. Well, this ends this episode of Unsolved, and I was planning on looking at the backgrounds of the fathers of all the victims and looking at their military record. And that's how I came across this suspect right off the bat. And so next week I'll provide some more information about him and more connections. So see ya.